What's up? It's Dave from Dave Craves Raw Food, and today we're going to take a closer look at my friend Kuba, and we're going to dive right into his lifestyle. And we met at the Woodstock Fruit Festival for the first time, but we had been in real life, but we had been Instagram friends for a while. And I saw him like rapping, freestyling one time, and I was like, "Oh, dude, like that's sick!" So, and I was into that. I'm into that kind of stuff. So yeah, so then we connected. And yeah, I think he was at the festival. This was your third year. So yeah, so he was a veteran, and we got to work on the produce team together. So that was super awesome. And I'll make a whole video recapping the festival. But today we're gonna talk to this guy. So I have a couple questions for you, just about the lifestyle. First, like how long have you been into eating raw?
So I started this journey about 4.5 years ago. It was when my dad got sick with stomach esophagus cancer and passed away, and that kind of awakened my whole consciousness to this lifestyle, taking care of myself, realizing the role that food has on the body. So that's when I began it, and I started like changing my diet, more fruits and vegetables, cutting out dairy and meat slowly. But it probably took me a few months to tweak that and get fully vegan.
Yeah.
And probably actually a year before I went fully vegan, at least maybe over a year even of like trying to be vegan. So after that, I was like trying to be raw, vegan, high fruit, you know, and like struggling to maintain it for too long. So I just settled for the raw till 4.
Okay, yeah, I think
like,
a lot of people did that. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say like up to like 2 years ago, I was raw till 4.
Okay.
Just like settled for that. No, literally like a year and a half ago is when I finally went fully raw.
Fully raw? Okay.
Yeah. It was thanks to a juice feast, thanks to being inspired by John Rose and juicing.
Yeah. You guys know John Rose for sure.
And I was trying to do a juice feast. I was like, I want to do 2 weeks, and I'll do 3 days, fall off the wagon. And
yeah,
it was like for a month I was struggling, but I decided like halfway at that month I was like, all right. I talked to John Rose. I called him up, and I was like, I decided like if I eat, I'm just gonna eat fruit, but juice all throughout the day. So I was just juicing till dinner, and dinner was fruit.
Nice.
So that was December 15th was my last cooked food meal, I remember, and December 16th it was just the juice and fruit until January 1st when I started my juice feast, and I went for 3 months of juice, and that cut out all my cravings and got me to be fully raw like once and for all.
Wow. So
I did a year, and then I did some slip ups since then.
Yeah, of course.
Cooked food and stuff
happens,
lately, but I identify as a raw vegan, living foodist, fruitarian, whatever title you want to use, but I'm keeping my food alive, you know?
Yeah, you're on the path, man. So that's cool. It's a good transition. So since you've had cooked food and you've slipped up, like why do you like eating raw vegan so much? Like why don't you have some cooked food here and there? Like what is it about the raw that you
the cooked food is the slip ups for social reasons every time.
Okay. Yeah.
If I'm alone, I'm not thinking about cooked food. It's not on my vibe at all. I don't, because when I eat it, because I'm at a social thing, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna have this processed vegan thing because they put the love to make it for me, and I'm just gonna enjoy the social thing, and I'll still bring like my own salad and fill up on fruit, so it'll be like mostly raw with a little bit of cook.
Right.
But that little bit of cook, I'll eat it, and it's just like, yes,
exactly.
My vibe just dims.
Exactly.
And I feel like how I felt my whole life, kind of, and that familiar feeling where, you know, when you eat and you're just like, you don't want to do anything. Yeah. And I just feel like, okay, I'm on the same vibe as everyone now. Yeah. But this is not worth it. Like every time I'm just like, this is not worth it. I'd rather be high vibe, and maybe like my diet could be weird amongst people, but those people prefer me fully raw, even though they think they'd rather me eat the food with them, because they think the food is like a connection. But they prefer me to be fully raw because they prefer me to be my real self and have that high energy. And that's when people love me. Yeah. They like love being around me because of that energy. Yet they don't, like if food never came in the picture, it wouldn't be an issue. But because you sooner or later sit down to eat together, that's when it's like, all right, if I don't eat their food, it's kind of like a disrespectful thing. Of course. Meanwhile, it would bring my energy down if I ate their food, and I wouldn't be that full present self.
That's interesting.
So that's ironic, right?
That's interesting because they think they're going to be more connected to you because you're connecting with the food, but you're not being your authentic, living your truth. So actually you're going to be more in your head and you're going to be feeling more disconnected. So you're actually going to be less connected to them than if you were to eat. Yeah, that's amazing, man. So so yeah, I think we can all relate to that. I think a lot of people that were at the fruit festival can relate to the fact that if a lot of people actually didn't eat raw, they ate raw there, but they weren't like raw foodists. So when they were there, they noticed like a shift in energy. Like they might not have been sleeping enough, but you know they had like they could wake up and they actually had energy, rather than when you're eating cooked and like regular food, you need like 8 hours of sleep, otherwise you're pretty much done for. So I think that's really cool. So other than raw food, like we all know that's really good. What about like detox? Do you think like doing cleanses and detoxing your body is important?
Actually, I was thinking when you were talking about the people at the festival were eating raw and having more energy, which is definitely true. I also noticed after a few days, some of them like their energy went down again, and they started getting emotional, and I feel they were experiencing detox.
Okay,
for sure.
So do you think that's important to do that? Like, where does that come from? I don't want to have it too long, but because you could definitely get into it. But like, just in your, besides the people there, because I noticed that as well, that they were up and then they went down, and it is a roller coaster. It's a journey. But in your own life, you think it's important to do cleanses and stuff? Because
I'm all about it.
You did the 90 days juicing, so you think you're like going to continue doing that, or do you think you're already done?
For sure. I did the 90 days. That was last year. Right now we're August 2018. So I did that January, February, March 2017. So a year and a half later, this summer in June, I did another 30 days, and I was just so stoked about it. Even more so than the 90 days, because the 90 days I was all new to it. I was figuring out what I was doing as I was going. I was in an environment that was not conducive to like detox, because it was a rough living situation I was in. The person I was living with didn't really understand what I was doing, so didn't really support me. They're doing construction in my building, so there's a lot of external stresses. Whereas a year and a half later, I'm so in tune with this lifestyle, the fruits and vegetables, juicing. Like after my juice feast, I got more into the greens and the beets and the vegetables.
Nice.
And like I got a Green Star juicer. I've been like more in tune with the juicing after my juice cleanse and during, just because I kept it up. So this year, the 30 days was just like so easy. It was so fun because I knew what I was doing, and it was hot outside.
Yeah, right. It wasn't the winter.
The winter was rough.
Yeah.
That's what one thing I learned about. If you're gonna detox, you need support, man. If you have the sunshine and fresh air and water to support you, and the earth that you can ground on and go out into nature, it just makes detox so much easier. Like you can feel bad and just like go for a walk in nature, and it'll help so much.
Yeah.
So I was so excited to do it. I didn't even plan it. I just was separated from my Green Star for a month and came back home with it. First day I came home with it, I made juice. I tasted it, and I'm like, I don't want nothing else, and I just kept going.
Right.
And then literally like 3 weeks might have been natural, and then because I got that far, I was kind of like, oh, I could do a month. And then that last week was maybe a little harder because it takes time.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I definitely like now after this festival going home, I think I might do at least a week of juice or something like that. I'm excited to get back to my Green Star.
Yeah, it's been weird for me not having my juicer as well. We had some orange juice and stuff at the festival, but
and
it's
the sugar cane.
Yeah, the sugar cane. Yeah, but it's nice to make your own. So awesome, man. That's awesome. So actually, you touched on this a little bit earlier about going out to like events and stuff, but like we live in a crazy world, and you even said it's not, a lot of our environments aren't conducive to this, like I guess like small way, like no one's doing it like what we're doing, like no one's doing it. It's a small group of people that are eating raw. So like how do you manage to get by in a society that doesn't support you, like eating raw? Like how do you do that, I guess? Like what how do you find balance with that, I guess?
That's what's been rough, because like my biggest thing is like I need human connection. I feel like disconnected from people. The more I get in tune with this lifestyle, the more I'm in tune with nature. I just feel like I'm one with nature, That's why it's like nowadays this lifestyle, I go by intuition way more than science or what I think is right, what I should eat, how much fat, how much this, how much that. I just go with what I feel. I'm just so in tune, but then I feel like so disconnected from my people. So it's been hard to deal with that. But if you want me to tell you about the positive ways that I have dealt with it, it's by always being ready, like always being ready, no matter if I gotta do something, just always being stocked up on my fruit, having it with me in my car, always bringing more, just in case. I'd rather have more and carry it around than have short.
Yeah.
So like I'll always be ready with like a watermelon or something for emergency.
Yeah.
And I'll just fill up on melon or fill up on fruit before I hang out with people. And I'll prepare like epic salads, like zucchini noodle salads with like, I'll put a lot of avocado and I'll put spices and even garlic if I want. I'll make it like stimulative and dense and high fat if I have to, just to keep it raw.
Yeah, of course.
And like I feel much better doing that than if I eat the cooked food.
Caving and eating it, yeah, for sure.
So I like to share those kind of meals. Like I'll make a good mango avocado zucchini noodle salad that I learned from Fully Raw Christina. And every time I bring that around, people love it. And,
right? Yeah, you can share it, and then you don't feel as weird because people are joining in on you.
And they see that, oh, this guy's not just eating apples and bananas.
Carrots and summer. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's actually like making amazing food, you know?
That's awesome. I think something it just came up when you were talking too is as you do the lifestyle more, you just get more confidence with it. Right now, you don't feel weird bringing that. I bet in the beginning you might have felt weird bringing your own food, and I think that's important. Just like know that you're gonna have more confidence the longer you do it, and get out of your comfort zone. Right? Like that's kind of
still something I'm tweaking.
We're all it's hard. It's hard. That's
like
why
summer I fell off and like gave into some social and like But it just made me realize, like I was saying, dimming my energy. I'm like, it's not for me. It's much better when I just bring my own food and do what's best for me. Because even in these exceptions that I made, I'll prepare my fruit, my juice, everything. But I told myself that I'll allow myself to eat the cooked fruit.
Yeah, right.
And then it's like by the time I get through my juice and my fruit, I noticed they all ate their cooked food by then anyways. And I could have totally been satisfied, but because I told myself I'll eat the cooked food, I end up eating it like way later anyway.
Yeah, right.
But I could have just been satisfied with my juices and fruit, you know? And they didn't notice because by then it's like you're talking, you're hanging out, and I ate my food, they ate theirs. So it's really not a big deal. I think it's more in our heads.
Exactly. I agree.
We think it's a big deal. We think they care. But if you just own it and you eat it confidently, no one will really.
Yeah, and I've noticed no one really. A lot of people care about themselves, but like they might like pretend like, oh, how are you doing today? But really, they're thinking in their head, oh, how am I doing? Like a lot of people aren't really caring, so like they say something, but once you start eating it, they're gonna forget about it. So I feel like. Yeah, I've done that too, where it's like, oh yeah, I can eat it later, and then you're not even hungry, but you're like, oh well, I told myself. You're like a little kid with the cookie, like I can have a cookie now, you know. But exactly. Yeah. So I have one more question. We can wrap this up pretty quick.
Go, man.
Yeah, I know, right? He's got to drive back.
I got a long drive.
So we talked about food, we talked about detoxing and stuff, but what practice? And I think I know the answer based on what I've learned about you. What health practice is most important to you that doesn't revolve around food? What gives you the most health that doesn't
I know
isn't eating?
I got my answer.
Okay, yeah.
I wonder if it's what you think.
Say it on three.
There's a few things.
Say it on three. If it's wrong, it doesn't matter. We'll see. 1, 2, 3. Meditation.
Grounding.
Oh, dang! I thought it was meditation.
Meditation.
Okay. So grounding.
Meditation is huge, though.
Okay. Well, talk more about grounding.
But grounding is more important. Like me being barefoot on the earth and just even climbing trees, just touching, being connected with the earth is just like that's what I'm doing with these fruits and vegetables. Anyways, like John Rose talks about bumping up our biophotons to get more in tune with nature. So I'm all about getting in tune with nature. So meditation for sure goes hand in hand, but it's just like nature's always been first for me. Like before I understood meditation, that's how I would meditate, by just going out into nature, sitting silently. But now I'm just like, I understand and I feel it through my experience that I'm grounding to nature, and it's just like, you know, they talk about B12 supplements and all that. I'm like, that's how I get it, by connecting to the earth. Yeah. Like even in the winter at home sometimes if I'm feeling down and stuff, and then I'm about to make a juice or whatever, and I grab a melon, and just picking up that melon, I already feel that vibe of nature. I'm just like, whoa, and I get connected with the fruit. So if I'm outside and there's sunshine and air blowing on my skin, and my feet are like touching the ground, the earth, like soft grass, I feel so good. Like it's so healing. Like that's one of the things I want to bring more to people in this community, because there's a lot of science, but I have an intuitive approach. Yeah, exactly. And I just feel like a lot of people I look up to, I mean, meeting at the festival, I'm like, they're so inspiring because they're fully raw no matter what. They don't even have slip-ups like me, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But then I'm like, oh, they're always in their sandals. I'm like, they're not they could probably take their journey to the next level if they're grounded to the earth.
Yeah, I need
touching trees and leaves.
I need to take that from you because I don't ground enough, and I'm not as connected. And it's just like when I was younger, I never went outside. Like I was on the computer all the time. So I think everyone is suffering from that, and that's, you know, I actually heard a story where people were in the hospital, they weren't getting well. They put all the hospital patients outside, and in 3 days they all got like so much better from being in the fresh air, because they're in the hospital, they're in confined and air conditioning and all this stuff. Put them outside, put them in the fresh air, and they were all getting better. So I think you're onto something there with connecting to.
Well, think about this. When I eat the fruits and vegetables, what I'm really doing is taking the 4 elements that my body's made out of: the wind, the earth, the water, and the fire. So when I'm eating a melon, it's like 70% water, like my body. So I'm like hydrating. And then the flesh, the fiber, that's the earth. And then you got the oxygen in it. Because you keep it alive, you're not cooking it, so the oxygen stays intact, and you're filling your cells with oxygen. And then you got the fire, the sunlight energy, the biophotons. That come from the sun, that cook the fruit for months in the tree. Loaded up with that sunlight energy, and then it comes into me, and then I have the sunlight energy beaming out of me. So that's just from eating fruits and vegetables. So now imagine going out into those elements and grounding with the earth, having the wind and the oxygen on your skin and in your lungs, jumping in the water, and using it, whether you're water fasting or doing enemas, to like get your whole body covered in water. And then the sunlight just like charging your skin, sun gazing. It's all the same thing. It's together.
Yeah, we came from the earth, so it's important to reconnect. So, man, that was awesome, dude. Thank you for sharing so much and like sharing.
You just got me really inspired.
Man, sharing your life and stuff. So, I mean, these people are gonna want to know where to see more of what you have to say. So, what's your like social media, or how can they get in touch with you? Or
I'll definitely be making more YouTube videos, and I have a bunch on my channel. Not super bunch, but I share my cleansing journeys, my juice feasts on my YouTube channel, which is Jakub Misiek. So JAKUB MISIEK.
That'll be linked below. I'll have it linked below the video for sure.
And then Instagram for sure. I'm always posting there. I'm always on my Insta story, just showing off my day-to-day life, how I'm keeping it raw in this cooked food world. You know?
Nice, awesome. Go follow him. And I think that's gonna wrap it up for this video. And
if you haven't already, subscribe to this guy's channel.
Thanks guys. And any closing words you want to say? So, like if you had a sentence to inspire someone, what would you say to someone right now, however you're feeling?
I would just say, look at yourself and see if you really love your life, if you really love yourself. And if you love your life, then keep your life alive, so you don't need to cook or kill your food or anything that you put into your life, you know? Your life being, so your life wants other things that are alive.
Nice. I agree. Bring it in, brother.
That was dope.
And we'll hopefully reconnect again or do some live videos or something. But until then, I'll see you soon.
Peace, y'all.
Nice. That was super long, but
that was a good one.
That was super long.